Hello there. In this video, I'm building a small preamp. So I've got an old dynamic microphone capsule lying around that I had left over from another project. I'm pretty sure it's a Peiker from the 1950s sometimes. So to begin with, I'm just cutting up some walnut from a piece I had left over. Then I'm using a router to just cut out the inner part to kind of make it a box. And then after I cut everything out, I'm just going to move on to a chisel to just make the edges a bit nicer and a bit sharper. For the lid, I just wanted something very slim and simple. I was considering a piece of aluminium or something, but then I found this piece of like reddish wood lying around. It looks a lot like mahogany, but I'm actually not sure if that's what it is. But anyway, it was just like a nice thin little offcut piece. So I just glue the strips together and then tape them up. Because I made it a little bit oversized, just to be able to shape it afterwards, I just used some sandpaper to like rough it into shape so it would fit the box better. And it was just the first pass because I also needed to sand the actual box. So after quite a lot of sanding of the box itself, but also the lid to get it into shape, I was ready to move on and add some holes for the connectors. So on the front it needs a 3.5mm jack, the same on the back, another 3.5mm jack, a DC power jack on the back, as well as an on-off switch. So on the front will obviously be a microphone channel in, and then on the back it will be just the amplified channel coming out. For the front, I also wanted to have a power indicator, so I'm just drilling a hole for that. So I'm gonna use a power LED, and I'm gonna wrap that in plastic wrap, and then stick it into the hole, and then seal it off with some white tack. Then I'm gonna use some UV curing resin, and just pour that into like quite a large blob, and then let that cure in the sun. And then once it's cured and hard, it'll take, I don't know, 20-30 minutes. I can just sand that down and make it smooth again. So the UV resin will act kind of like a window for the LED to shine out of. And here's probably one of my favorite parts of any project, and that is finishing the wood. Just seeing that the color pop and just having the wood come to life. So to begin with, I'm just using some wax oil and wet sanding that. I'm hoping to fill some of those walnut fibers. then once the wax is dried, the next day I just come back with some normal wood oil, and that is just to give it a second coat. It gives it that extra sheen and that extra contrast. Once everything is dry and nice, we can move on and assemble all the electronics and do all the soldering. Oh, and I never said how the lid attaches to the box, so I just dug out 2 divots in the box and glued in a magnet on each side of the box, and then glued 2 corresponding magnets to the lid, making sure the polarity makes the lid only go on one way. And here is the box, all finished. Pretty quick and easy overall. It can be powered with either a 9-volt battery or just a power supply. So I guess all that's left to do is to listen to the end results, which unfortunately are not at all as good as I would have liked. I'm getting a lot of noise and hum. If I try and ground it by holding the microphone and the case at the same time, it's kind of serviceable, and with some noise reduction, I guess it kind of works. But it's definitely something I need to revisit and try to figure out. But all in all, it was still a fun project. I'm quite happy with the box itself and the lid. But hopefully I can also get back to it and actually make it sound better. So here is just a little test of how it sounds right now. Just recording some audio. Test recording a bit of audio to see how this sounds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. And thank you very much for watching. If you have any ideas how you're supposed to connect this in a proper way, please let me know. Thanks.